Hi, my name is Straub. Many of you watching this probably already know that, but in case you don't know, that is my name. Um, I'm a little nervous to record this, so I'm sorry. This is something that I have thought about recording for a long time. I've wanted to share my testimony with everyone because I know many people have been confused. Some have been excited. Just definitely a lot of confusion, I feel like, with the way things have kind of changed for me online and the things I post and all the deleted videos. And so I thought it was time to share my testimony with you. So that's what this is. So growing up, I had a childhood. I don't want to act like there was never any good parts to it because there definitely were. At the end of the day, I had everything I needed. I never went hungry. I did have family that loved me, but my childhood wasn't the best. When I was a baby, just a few months old, my dad passed away, and I never knew him. My mom ended up marrying someone else and having a son with him, and I grew up believing that this was my dad and that my brother was my full brother, although I don't consider him a half brother. He's my full brother to me, but yeah, I always thought he was my dad. And it wasn't until they got divorced. I was probably like around 7 years old when they got divorced. And that was a very messy divorce, and that's when I found out that he wasn't actually my dad, that my dad had passed away, and that's also when the man who I thought was my father stopped seeing me, even though he would still get my brother on the weekends, because I was not his biological child. I didn't get to go see him anymore, and he was basically removed from my life, or I guess I was removed from his life. That, I feel like you that really hurt me a lot, and I think sometimes I'm pretty numb to it. I don't realize just how much it did hurt me, but it did hurt me, and I think it affected and shaped who I am a lot growing up. My mom would date other men after him. She eventually did get married again. And I kind of gave up on the idea that any man that my mom was with would be a father in my life or a father figure in my life. My mom got married multiple times again after the divorce, and to this day, I still don't have a relationship with any of the men she's been with, I've been married to, so it's been sad for me. The only man in my life that I really felt like was like a father to me was my papa. And growing up, my nana and my papa raised me a lot. They helped raise me. They were very Christian, very Southern Christian, Southern Baptist, but so loving, so sweet, never made me feel judged, less than always made me feel so loved. Even when I would argue with them over lots of things, because when I was younger, I had a lot of things I disagreed with them on. At the end of the day, like, I loved them, and I loved my papa so much. He was the most gentle, sweetest, kindest, loving, God-fearing man. I mean that. He was like the epitome of everything. He was just the best. And he was like my dad. And honestly, now it kind of breaks my heart. I mean, it definitely breaks my heart. I try not to let it too much, but when I was younger, I came out to my family as being agnostic, atheist, whatever you want to call it. I didn't think I believed in God. I was always so angry. I was like, why does God present himself to everyone but me? Because my whole family always would say, oh, I really felt God in that sermon. Oh, I really felt God moving. Oh, I can feel God. And I was like, why do I never feel God? Why does God never speak to me? And I really struggled with that a lot when I was younger, not knowing why he never bothered to speak to me, why he didn't care to be there for me. And while my grandparents were great examples of what it meant to be a good Christian people, my mom, and I love my mom, but she wasn't. Growing up, we church hopped a lot. I never felt like I belonged anywhere, like we belonged anywhere. My mom, she would scream at me. She would tell me that I had the devil inside of me. I remember being in the car and telling a joke when I was a kid, and my mom didn't like the joke, and all of a sudden I get screamed at and yelled at and said that, she rebukes the devil out of me. And I just remember like sobbing, like crying so hard. There were so many moments like that in my childhood, and my mom was always someone who professed to being such a strong, proud Christian woman. She had it in her Facebook bio. And the things that I went through were terrible. Putting me on diets when I was a little kid, when I was at a healthy weight, being told I needed to restrict my calories to 1,200 or less a day, calling me fat, telling me I had no friends. I called the police on her one time because she had jumped on my back and was screaming at me and telling me that I had no friends and that nobody liked me. And I had my phone in my hand and I was going to call the police because I was not in a good place and I wanted someone to save me. And they came and they told me that I should have given my mom my phone and that I need to respect my parents. And it's like all these memories I have. I remember being a kid and locking myself in the bathroom after my mom had screamed at me and her unlocking the bathroom door with her fingernail and slamming the door on me over and over again. And then telling me it never happened. And then to this day, I'm like, did I imagine that? Am I crazy? So, I say all this to say that I didn't really have the best impression of Christians when I was growing up. It's not really something I wanted any part of. Like, I didn't want that pain in my life, and I felt like that pain came from my family and it came from God. It's really what I thought. But I graduated high school, and the day I turned 18, I moved out of my house. I moved in with my grandparents, and it was peaceful and honestly just great. I went off to college. College was fun. I like school. There's always stresses and stuff, but it was nice to be out of my house and on my own. And then I just kept getting further and further away from God, though. I made friends with people who thought religion was stupid. And if I'm being honest, I also thought religion was stupid. I still struggle with the mentality of like, oh, this is so cringe, you know? Even recording this right now, I'm like, do I sound cringe right now? But I just want to be honest about where I'm coming from because, just the other day, someone on my stream mentioned how they felt like they're too smart to be Christian. And, I told them that I really could relate to that. Like, there was a long time in my life where I felt like I'm too intelligent for this. Like, my family, I love them, but they don't get it. Like, they don't think critically about these things. They're not really thinking about it. They just have always believed this. And so they're always going to believe it. And I just felt like there was nothing I could ever do to believe it. So I spent most of my life feeling that way. And it wasn't until 2023 when I experienced some of the worst things I've ever experienced in my entire life. One being my papa passed away from cancer finally, after years of fighting it and a very terrible hospice experience. He finally passed away just a couple months before my wedding, and he was always the person I wanted to walk me down the aisle. But I knew that wasn't going to happen, and it didn't happen. So that broke me. And something else happened to me that honestly, as open as I've been during this stream, I'm still not comfortable talking about. Some people know what happened, but I'm just not comfortable to talk about it on this video. But I can tell you that what happened to me was one of the scariest things that I think could ever happen to someone. And it put me at rock bottom. Like there was nowhere lower to go. And I have been to low places before. I mean, I had a very bad drinking problem in college. I would get so drunk and I wouldn't even know where I was. I would wake up with alcohol bottles in my bed. And I didn't care because I just felt like my life was kind of pointless. But no, that wasn't even rock bottom. This was rock bottom. And that's when I started praying to God. I felt like just this urge to start praying. And I feel like a lot of people feel that way, right? When you get really, really, really knocked down and you just don't feel good. You start praying to God because what else can you do? So I started praying. I remember one night just like breaking down in my um in my laundry room. I just remember like crying to God on the floor, like, please help me, please give me safety, please make me feel safe and okay. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. I was terrified, and I just kept praying. I don't know, I just kept praying. And it was a very slow transition. I know a lot of people online and on Twitter and in my community, even to a certain extent, they think that I flipped some switch and all of a sudden I was this like loud Christian annoying everyone online. But it really was a slow change. I just kept praying, and I would pray and I would find myself wanting to, read the Bible, wanting to look up things online, and I was watching some online sermons. And it really was around a year of that, on and off. And slowly but surely I felt myself drawn more and more to wanting to go to church in person. I wanted to physically be around other believers. I wanted to read my Bible seriously. I wanted to learn more about the history of things. I wanted to learn about the man who laid down his life for me, because for once in my life I finally felt his presence, and I felt like he cared about me. And that was all I ever wanted, That was all I ever wanted, was to feel like he loved me. And I think that maybe it took me being knocked to the very bottom to push me to be closer to him again and to find him. People say everything happens for a reason. God works all things for your good. And I have to believe that, because the things that I experienced in my life, I have to believe that they were for a reason. Some of them, at least. I have to believe something was for a reason, even if it's just so that I can record this video now and share it, and maybe, one person might relate or understand where I'm coming from. So, yeah, when you see me talking about stuff on Twitter, when you see me sharing a Bible verse, it's not because I think I'm better than anyone. I don't think I'm better than anyone. I really don't. I think I'm honestly the worst. I know I'm not actually the worst, but I feel like it a lot. And I know I'm not perfect. And I really do try to improve when I make mistakes, because I make mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes. I do things out of emotion and out of anger and out of frustration. And it's all things that I'm trying to work on. But I need God in my life to help me work on these things. And I want to be able to share it with other people, because the truth is, there was a point in my life where I really felt like I didn't need to be on this planet anymore. That there was nothing here for me. That I had no purpose. And knowing that God designed me, that I am fearfully and wonderfully made, that He has a purpose and a plan for my life, that He loves me, and that Jesus came and He laid down His life for me, that means something to me. And so I'll do whatever I can do if it means that other people can experience what I've felt. Because as low and as awful as I have felt, I really feel peace and I feel love in my heart. And I know I sound maybe a little silly right now. I'm just very emotional. I'm an emotional person. But I just want to be loud, even though it's scary. And even though sometimes I'm loud and I shouldn't be loud, or I say something and I say it wrong, but I want to be open about my love for God. And I want to be here for other people, not to push it down anyone's throats, because I know what it's like to have people push things down your throat. And that's not what led me back to God. You know, those things are not what brought me back here. It really isn't. And so that's never my intention, but I want to share what has changed my life. And if there's anyone that I can help, anyone that has been there too, or that also feels like God has abandoned them, or that God was never there for them, or that God never loved them, I want to remind them that that's not true, and that He does love us all, and that He literally sent His only Son to die for us. I pray every single day. I pray for discernment. I pray for myself to know what to do, to know right from wrong. I pray for my marriage. I pray for my friends, my family. I pray for people that hate me. And not in like a condescending, oh, I'll pray for you way, because I try to never tell anyone I'm going to pray for them, because I know that can come off as condescending, and I don't want that. But like I pray for them. And I pray for me. I pray for us at the same time, because I'm like, Lord, why, you know? Why can't everyone just get along? Why can't life be better, you know? And now I'm like crying and talking about why can't we all just hold hands and sing Kumbaya, but and I know some people will probably hate on this video. They'll probably say that I was being, I don't know, something that they didn't like. But I know that I will never be able to please this world. I will never be able to please the people of this world. I will never be able to be enough for everyone in this world. But knowing that I don't have to be, that the only person I have to worry about is Jesus, that is so comforting. Because I'm someone who I am anxious. I do get stressed out. I do overthink. I'm such an overthinker. I think way too much. But knowing that all I have to think about at the end of the day is what God thinks about my actions. And not even just my actions, but whenever I do something wrong and I apologize and I say, Lord, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be this way. Please change me. Please make me better. Please make me a better person. Please make me slow to anger, slow to speak, because I need that. So, yeah, this is my testimony. I debated recording this for a while, and I probably forgot a few things, and I probably added in some things that I'm a little nervous to post on the internet, but I just want to be honest, and yeah, I hope this helps at least one person, and thank you for giving me this platform. Thank you for being understanding and supportive. Even though I deleted all my videos, I didn't really talk about this in the testimony either, I guess, but, you know, I did delete hundreds and hundreds of ASMR girlfriend experience roleplay type videos because I just felt in my heart it was not what I was meant to be doing. And that was a very difficult decision. There was a lot of pushback, a lot of anger towards me, but also a lot of support. I'm not blind to that. I know there was a lot of support, and I'm not stopping making ASMR. I just want to make it in a way that glorifies God, that's the most purely wholesome ASMR that there can be, because that's the kind of content that I feel led to make. It's not a judgment on anyone. It's my personal decision based on what feels right to me in my heart and what I think is pleasing to God. And I think this is the end of the video. So I'm not really sure how to end this other than saying thank you for watching and God bless you.